What's up?
We're back. Honorable
We're back,
mention
we're back.
sports, college football pick'em show. Josh and Caleb Mancuso.
What's happening?
What's up?
Big week of football, huh?
Big week of football. Yes.
Big week of football.
Oh, it's been great. It's been so fun to watch. I'm excited to be here chatting with you, drinking out of my game time sidekicks mug today.
What's that for?
Little Wolverines from Michigan.
Yeah, a Michigan Cup, huh?
Things taste better when you're drinking out of a Big Ten cup right now.
Yeah, it does.
How about it? How about those Michigan Wolverines taking care of Alabama? How about that Illinois Fighting Illini taking care of South Carolina? Ohio State taking care of Tennessee. What is happening?
Yeah, I love it. I think of those games, Ohio State taking care of Tennessee was a big win. That was a big win. The rest of those wins is typical bowl season stuff. 25 opt-outs on each side in an exhibition game.
Whew.
Who knows what's going to happen, right? I mean, good. Congratulations to Illinois, and I think it was a good ending of the year for Michigan. I'm sure they feel good beating Alabama and especially beating Ohio State at the end of the year. But as far as reading into bowl games, I don't read into bowl games at all. Conference record, whatever. I don't think it matters whatsoever.
It's tough. It's tough to know with all the opt-outs, all the transfers, all the things. The team that plays in the bowl game is not the same team that plays during the season. And
no.
It's kind of a bummer. I wish it wasn't that way. Honestly, I really wish it wasn't that way.
It shouldn't be that way. If it was 10 years ago, I would be like, wow, this is really something. I mean, this is like the Big Ten's really strong, whatever. But look, right now, nobody in the Big Ten wants to talk about Texas going up to Michigan and whooping them by a couple of scores, maybe even 3 scores, or Alabama going up to Wisconsin and beating them 42-10. Those games are played in the regular season where there's no opt-outs, no transfers, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't take the bowl games too seriously. Now the playoff games take seriously. That's for sure.
Yes.
But but playoff games for sure. I mean, Ohio State drubbed Tennessee. That's without question.
Yeah.
But the bowl games, I ain't worried about bowl games.
You're not worried about the bowl game. Well, people say the bowl games don't have any meaning anymore. It's like, wow, they're just,
They don't. They're exhibition games.
Yeah. I mean, you think about the Tennessee last year, right? I mean, that Nico played in the game because Joe Milton opted out, and it's a different team, This year's same thing. Welcome everybody. Glad you guys are coming in here, dropping some comments in the chats there. I see Heisman Dave is with us. Colorado got dog walked. This is true. They sure did.
That was surprising.
I'm not surprised
at all.
No,
I know you weren't. You called that from the start.
100%. BYU is a good football team. I'm telling you right now, they are a great football team. Colorado, typical flashy, pizzazz, whatever. But when it comes down to winning football games, okay, let's see if Colorado can beat a ranked team. They've not done that.
They haven't. No. That's a bad deal.
Not beating any ranked teams. It's ridiculous. It's exciting what Colorado's done over there, but it's not the. Yeah, no, I'm not buying that hype at all.
So what happened? Do you think, real quick? I mean, he's losing 2 huge players in Shedeur and Travis Hunter. Like, is he toast next year, Coach Prime?
Coach Prime? No, I think he'll regroup. He's got some good recruits coming in, and I'm sure he'll hit that portal. And I think they'll be competitive again.
Yeah,
next season, but they're gonna miss Shedeur and Travis.
They're gonna miss them a lot.
Yeah,
they're gonna miss them a whole lot,
big time. It's a big game, great win. I love watching the games, even if they don't mean as much. I mean, great game. Louisville beating Washington. Washington almost came back and won that game. LSU beating Baylor. Of course, Michigan beating Alabama, drinking out of the Michigan mug today. Just just trying to give credit where credit's due. I mean, Milroe played, and they shut him down. So Missouri beat Iowa. Glad to see Eli Drinkwitz getting some wins. But I mean, East Carolina beating NC State. That's a hurt. That hurts.
That was intense. Was intense. And the fight after the game, the ref getting cut. Where? Woo!
It's dangerous being a referee these days.
Yeah,
I
no
mean,
kidding.
beating Boston College, that's I lost that pick. But how about UConn beating North Carolina, and
Yeah, brutal,
then
brutal.
Army beating Louisiana Tech. I mean, it is Louisiana Tech, but they won
Uh,
their game, so that's
how about
you know
Navy beating Oklahoma?
they
I mean, that's a big
golly,
win.
that was
That's cool.
incredible.
Cool
Yeah,
for Navy. Good for them. I mean, again, Oklahoma had over 20 players opt out, and Oklahoma has a bunch of inbound transfers that look really solid, including I think they have the top quarterback transfer
yeah,
inbound to Oklahoma. And so they got
yeah,
all the transfers out that can't play, all the transfers in that also can't play. So you're just
right.
like in this weird limbo. Hey, but good for Navy because they don't have all those transfers out, so it paid off for them.
They play
So
exactly. I love it.
yeah,
And Oklahoma chose to go for 2 and win the
yeah,
game instead of just
yeah, they
kicking the
did.
extra point, taking it to overtime, and thinking maybe we
Yeah,
can beat. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about that? Would you have?
I no, I would have definitely kicked the field goal. I mean, if I was Navy, I would have gone for 2, but Oklahoma, I mean, come on, you're supposed to be able to do that.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
I mean, you should be able to beat Navy in overtime. But hey,
Well,
doesn't
we'll
matter. Big win for Army.
yeah, big win for Army. And
Yep.
if you guys are following along, if you're part of the Pick'em challenge with us, we're partnering with the Pick'em app, and we are picking games. We're picking all the bowl games and the playoffs, and it's a little late in the game now to join because you will be behind, but you could still join and just go ahead and jump in there just to see what it's like and get going. I believe at the moment we've got 60 something people in there. It's great, everybody that's joined, and I believe you might be beating me, Caleb.
I might be. I just might be. I think I just checked. I keep hitting refresh just to make sure.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's in there.
yeah, it's happening. It's happening. We'll pull up those rankings a little bit later, but let's get to the games
Let's get to the
uh,
games.
that just happened. Big time games. I went on a limb, picked Boise State to upset Penn State. Knew it was a long shot, and it didn't happen. And not only that, but Penn State shut down Ashton Genty. I was going, justice for Genty. He's going to
You
win
were.
after losing the Heisman, and they
Yep,
shut him down. They
they
shut him
did.
down. So big win for Penn State there.
Was a big win for Penn State. It didn't seem like Boise had a whole lot besides just Genty. Compared to maybe Arizona State, they actually threw the ball pretty well, and then it helped Scadaboo kind of get open or get free later in the game. Boise State, it just felt like, man, it was all Genty or nothing, and they didn't have it. So, but I mean, pretty predictable. Penn State is obviously big up front. They're tough up front and they're physical. I thought maybe this game would be a little closer based on Boise State playing Oregon so close at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
But yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. And of course, he ends up not breaking the rushing record held by Barry Sanders,
yeah,
which is, I guess, in some ways very disappointing for Genty. But at the same time, he had like 2 more games. I think Barry Sanders
yeah,
did that in 12 games, and this was Genty's 14th. So I don't know if that's even the same stat.
yeah.
What do you think?
I feel like there's got to be a way to like prorate these stats, right? With these games, it's like, well, you're going to break the record if you have more games to do it, and of course you're going to have a chance of breaking the record. I think it maybe
Yeah,
come down to more like maybe rushing yards per game is more important than total yards. I don't know.
maybe. Maybe. Yeah, the problem I have with rushing yards per game, though, and this is all college stats, I always look at with a grain of salt. It depends on how many cupcakes you play early in the season
Yeah,
and how long they let you play versus the cupcakes. Because a
right.
lot of those teams, I mean, there's games where Genty, if he was playing at an SEC school, could run for 600 yards against UT Chattanooga, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you had Dylan Sampson or Nico, could have thrown for 800 yards against some of those teams, but
Yeah.
they're going to go pull them out of halftime. So many college stats are just skewed in comparison to professional football. That's the only thing I don't really worry too much about it. But yeah, anyways,
It's true. Let's go back to that stat of Genty, his rushing. I mean, only carried the ball 13 times. I mean, this is your main guy, and he's only getting the ball 13 times in the game. I guess they just kept stuffing him, so they kept having to go to throwing the ball, which is not their game. I mean,
right.
they've got good athletes, at wide receiver and have a good quarterback. But I mean, look at 13 carries, 40 yards, 3.1 yards per carry. He averaged 7 yards per carry on the
Yeah.
year.
The biggest thing to me, that stat line is 13 carries. I mean,
Yeah,
13 carries for an all-time great back, that's nothing. I mean, you would have thought that would be up in mid-20s to 30 if they were going to win
for
the game.
sure. This is your guy. Like, this is how you win ball games, is by giving the ball to this guy. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Here, Heisman Dave made a good point here. He says Genty sat out tons of games in the second half. Barry didn't. That's
Yeah.
interesting. That's a good
No,
point.
and that's exactly what I'm saying about college football. Like, that's not ever going to happen in the NFL. When you're talking about NFL rushing record, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that's all
right.
about staying healthy. But in college, it's just they play so many games where there's blowouts. It really
Yeah,
comes down to how long do they let you play.
yeah, absolutely.
That cup is so awful.
Yvonne says, "I need that Michigan Cup.
He
Go get it.
loves it. He
GameTimeSidekicks.com. Get
loves
you
it.
one. Mm. It tastes better coming out of a winning cup, you know."
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. So the Penn State's defense is legit.
They look good. They definitely look good.
They're legit. So
They look
it's
good.
going to be cool to see what happens next. Now, I did a poll, Caleb. All right, Caleb's not going to like this. Not going to like this what I said here. I said this
Okay.
on the social medias, and I got a lot of responses for it. All right, this is the statement I made. Penn State has the best uniforms in college football. Do you agree?
What do
Caleb?
people say? Do I agree?
Oh, I got thousands of interactions here. I can't even pull them all up. There's a lot of no's. A lot of no's.
Why do people say no? Do you know?
Because they're too plain, right? Because somebody said they look like the uniforms when you start on Madden or college football, like the uniforms before you like actually do something to them, right? Like after you pick them, like it's like this. It's
When
like
you
the
make your own
generic
team?
make your own team. Yeah, it's like the starting uniform, right? Yeah, they look like practice uniforms and stuff. But I mean,
Okay, that's
I
funny.
love the navy, that dark navy with the solid white. And I just love it. I love the simplicity. I like Boston College's uniforms because of
I do
I
too.
just love simplicity in uniforms. I think Penn State has the best uniforms in college football.
I love it. So I want to see in the comments who do they think has the best uniforms? These people that are commenting and saying they don't like them. Let's see who do they think does.
So
have the best uniform.
who does that? Who would you say, Caleb, has the best uniforms in
I
college
don't. So
football?
I like the plain. I really do. I do like
Yeah,
that classic college look. I like Alabama's uniforms a lot. I've always
yeah,
thought Alabama has a really clean look with the numbers on the side of their helmets. It just takes you back to like Bear Bryant, Joe Namath back in the day.
yeah.
Man, I like those. Obviously, I like Tennessee's a lot. I like Army's all blacks. Those are
Oh yeah,
underrated uniforms. Army comes out with some sweet uniforms. They wore the all white
yeah.
stormtrooper uniforms that honored the 10th Mountain Division one time in a game against Navy where it was pouring snow. So they were wearing this all
Yeah,
white uniform with skis on the helmet, and it was dumping snow, and they ended up winning the game. That was nuts.
because
That
you
was
couldn't
one of
see
my
their
favorite.
camouflage in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I love it.
That's great.
Oregon gets a lot of uniform shout outs, man. I don't know about Oregon. They have so many combos, you can't even figure it out. But
It's fun. It's like
it's
that's really
fun.
fun. But I mean, I like the Penn State because they don't have to worry about it. All right. So, all right, Steve Jobs. Remember Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple and
Yeah.
brilliant mind. He always wore those plain jeans with a black turtleneck looking type shirt. But that's all he wore. And he was asked about it one time, and he said, "I wear that every day because I don't have to spend any mental energy or strength thinking about what I'm going to wear. I don't have to." I don't have to worry. I don't think about. I don't have to worry about it. I just
Really?
get up. I know. I pick it up and I go. I'm not standing in my closet looking. What am I going to wear today? It's going to be different. And he's like, nope. Same thing. Penn State is the Steve Jobs of college football.
It is. It is a Steve Jobs of college football.
And those
Yeah.
and the icy whites, the all white. Oh God, it's so good. I love it. I'd go play football at Penn State just so I could wear those uniforms. Those are sick.
Yeah. I mean, they might let you if you ask them.
Well, I've got some
Ask if they
eligibility
need a
left.
receiver. If you should track their issues in the portal and see if they're thin at receiver. Maybe you could come in.
I got some. I can do it. Other people, let's see. Oh yeah, Fortune says East Mississippi Community College. That's good. Ohio State. Yeah, there's a lot of good uniforms out there. What do you think about Penn State wearing? They had the letter or the numbers on their helmets.
Those help a little bit, other than
That was
just a
kind of
solid
cool.
white. That helps. That helps a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, that does
All right.
help.
Other big game that just was blowing my mind yesterday. Texas Arizona State in the whatever ball, Fiesta Bowl, whatever it was. I mean, in the playoffs, just a crazy game, Caleb. I couldn't. I mean, you and I both picked Texas to win big, and
Yep.
just Arizona State, you can't count them out. They just fight and they just come back. So they were down 24-8 or something. I mean, they were getting killed at the start of the fourth quarter. They do a halfback pass to Cam Scattaboo. We have a clip of it right here.
Trailing by 2 possessions. Scattaboo's going to try to throw it downfield, and it is caught. And into the end zone goes Malik McClain. Cam Scattaboo.
Is that? Watch this throw. Is that even a good throw? I don't know. I mean, he threw it in a place where I guess it worked out.
How many arrows did he shoot after that? He shoot a whole quiver of those
2,
things.
3. I thought he was going to 4. 4 arrows out of that quiver.
Wow, that boy is shooting some darts.
Woo-hoo.
Oh, that was awesome. How about that? How about that targeting call that we saw?
Did you see that?
Yeah. Well, it was the non-call. Let's take a look at it.
Levitt, big hit. Coming in was Michael Taff meeting Stovall.
They're going to take a look to see if this is targeting now in the back end.
Well, that would be a massive call if it is. I mean, that would alter the scope of the final 63 seconds of this tie quarterfinal game if that is ruled targeting.
That's targeting, in my opinion. That's targeting. I mean, I think that if that's one that gets called a lot, do you think they didn't call it because it was such a key moment in the game? If they called that, Arizona State keeps going, it potentially wins the game on this drive. I mean,
Arizona State very potentially wins the game right there.
But that's clearly, I guess, it's defenseless receiver as well, and he just caught it in turns, and then it's helmet to helmet, right?
I can't see any reason why they wouldn't call it. Like, I can't even provide like a justification. That's like, okay, he did something that was, man, that was brutal. I don't know. I literally can't figure out a way to argue against it. You know what I mean? And they replayed it. That's the weird. They went to replay.
They did,
because there was an injury timeout and it was a full replay.
Yeah, the kid's clearly struggling.
Yeah, he was in a bad spot. He was hurt.
As I keep watching it, and I'm like, it's a tough thing as a defender. You played safety in high school. I mean, it's tough to. I mean, the thing happens so fast, and you got to. Well, I can't put my head here. I got to. I mean, it's going to be easy to get called for targeting if you're just in the moment and you're just trying to tackle a guy. I mean,
you know, it is. And when I played football, I would have said that. But after playing rugby for a long time, post football, you got to hit lower. You have to. You hit somebody like that in rugby, you're getting kicked out of the game.
Okay.
Anything above the shoulders like that, you have to hit lower. I mean, after playing rugby for so long, these guys are hitting way too high, way too often. I mean, they just got to. There's just no reason not to go lower. I mean, and the only reason why they're doing it in this situation, they're trying to break up a pass, which in rugby you're never trying to break up a pass. But still, man, I just don't understand how it's not targeting. And I mean, I'm not cheering for Arizona State by any means, but goodness gracious, man.
Yeah, I think you call it. I think it's I think it's the targeting call. But you know what? It's somebody mentioned in the comments there's other calls they miss and stuff too. Maybe it always happens. They're gonna miss.
There is one other call they missed. I think we have it here.
Do we?
Oh. Scattaboo wrapped up, sent back, and then goes forward. Is he in? Yes.
Yeah, he's in because number 77 grabs him and throws him across the goal line. Is this a touchdown? Can you count this?
No.
I mean,
no, you can push a runner, but you cannot pull them across. You can't pull them. It's called assisting the runner. You can't pull them. You can't lift them off the ground and carry them. You can't do, and he did both of them. He lifts them off the ground and pulls him forward, both. So, I mean, Arizona State did get that one back. Although, in terms of the game, they're on 1st and goal, so they're probably going to score there anyways. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't remember how far of a penalty assisting the runner is, but if it pushes them back, maybe they don't. But
I mean, he just grabs him and just throws him into the end
Yeah.
zone. I mean,
That was
great,
blatant.
great teammate, but I don't think you can do that.
No,
So,
you can't. You can't do that. That was
but you're right. They
blatant.
would have scored next time. It was Cam Scatterbo. They're going to give the ball to him. The guy can run. He can play. A lot of people hating on Cam. Little Bessie in the comments. People saying he's overrated. He thinks he's the best running back in college football. What are your thoughts on Cam Scatterbo?
Yeah, so I think myself, like a lot of people in the east part of the country, had not really heard Cam Scatterbo in terms of interviews and stuff. Well, he is really not likable. He is really not a likable guy. I mean, his pregame interview was very off-putting for sure. But that kid is a warrior. I mean, you got it. I mean, I tell you what, he backed up his talk. He walked the walk on the field. He was tough. He was throwing up in the middle of the game. He was getting hit and bouncing off of hits. Like, the kid's tough. But yeah, maybe not the most likable guy. I think if he goes to the league, whoever team he gets is probably going to get him a PR person pretty quick.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But yeah, anyways.
I imagine, well, he's the dude's strong. He's got some big old legs and he's a strong runner and he's got, a lot of talent. I think he could probably go to the NFL. He's a great runner. But yeah, he's a lot. He's a lot. I don't know.
He's a lot. I don't know.
It'd be tough to, but he keeps finding ways to win. I mean, he's a great competitor. But yeah, I just, I don't know.
I tell you what. Oh,
well, he was the offensive MVP of this game, right? I mean,
he was. What? Wow.
The first time in 26 years or something that the losing team got the offensive MVP because they gave it. I guess they decided too soon before the game was over. I don't know.
Yeah, but honestly, deserved though. I mean, see, it's deserved. Like without Cam Scatterbo, that game's not within 3 or 4 touchdowns. I mean, it's not even close. So I think it's well deserved award.
I mean, he ran for 150 yards or something. He caught
through the
several passes for 80-something yards. He threw a touchdown pass. I mean, he's like, do I have to do everything? But yeah.
But I'll tell you this about that game before we move on. Texas has got a serious problem closing out games. Okay, they got up against Clemson. They let them come back and never got real scary, but let them come back. I called that game getting ugly, and so did you. They were up by 16 points in the fourth quarter. Okay, and I love Arizona State. Like, man, big props to them. They're great. Texas is such a better team as far as their roster. You're up by 16 points in the fourth quarter against an inferior roster. You need to put them down. And for whatever reason, Texas does not seem to have that killer instinct. And if they don't find it, it's going to come back and get them. Because they've gotten a pretty easy draw in Clemson, Arizona State. Like, they really have. And it's going to come back and get them in these next 2 games.
Yeah, I don't think they have that killer instinct. Every time I watch them play, I don't feel like they have it. That's why they couldn't beat Georgia both those times. And they did beat some decent teams. But when it comes down to beatings the best of the best, I don't think they can do it. They're gonna play Ohio State. We'll talk about that game in a minute. They're gonna play Ohio State next week, and I don't know. You're cracking one open there. I see. Good.
I am cracking open a cold LaCroix.
A little LaCroix. I tell you who doesn't have a problem with closing out games: the Ohio State Buckeyes.
No, Woo! They sure don't. They sure don't. Holy moly!
All right. I am on board with Ohio State and the Buckeyes. They are a team on fire. They are a team I would not want to play right now. They are the best team in college football right now. Joel Wilson, I see. Yes, I believe Ohio State is. They played well throughout the year. Okay, they lost a close one to Oregon. They lost to Michigan in a rivalry game. But so they weren't playing their best football. But when they're playing their best football, which is right now, I don't think anybody can beat them. I don't think anybody can beat them. So if they keep going, they are 100% going to be national champions. And they come out 30-something to nothing on Oregon.
Yeah, that was nuts. 34. That game got up to 34 to nothing at one point.
As Tennessee fans, that makes us feel a lot better about that loss.
A lot better. Everyone can stop the panic in Knoxville.
Yeah, it's okay. Ohio State's that good.
You can stop the panic in Knoxville. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody chill out.
But if you're Texas or a team that plays Ohio State, you got to stop Devontae Smith. His last name Smith. I think his first name is Devontae, but you got to stop the Smith kid from Ohio State. I mean,
Jeremiah Smith. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeremiah Smith. I know that wasn't right. Yeah. Jeremiah Smith, he's incredible. He did this against Tennessee. He also did this last night. You have to stop him. If you can stop him, you got a chance to win the game. But right now, that kid is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And he's also unbelievable because Howard is pretty good too.
He is. Will Howard's a great, kind of under the radar a little bit throughout the season. I feel like just nobody was like, wow, Will Howard, like, well, he's I mean, he's just kind of quietly doing his job, and getting it done. And now we're seeing him, I mean, do amazing things. Jeremiah Smith, I mean, look at this career high in receiving yards.
Dude.
161 yards with 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. That's ridiculous. And a front runner to be a Heisman Trophy winner next year, and for good reason. The kid's amazing.
Yeah, super good. I mean, right now I'm picking him if I'm picking anybody.
Absolutely. Another thing, Ohio State offense is rocking, but their defense is killing people. That defense shut down Tennessee's run game, had Nico scrambling all over the place, and they shut down Dylan Gabriel pretty well as well. Getting sacked. Oh, here we go. We got sacked 13 times all season long, 8 times against Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. That's outstanding defensive work by Ohio State there.
If Ohio State beats Michigan, even if it's close like that, do you think they play like this, or do you think they needed that Michigan loss?
I don't know. I think maybe they needed that. That's why I always get nervous about teams that are going undefeated. It's like you have to win or you have to lose at some point to get it out of your system. So you got something to rise above and go fight for. It's like Oregon. They lost. I mean, you cannot sustain 13-0, 14-0, 15-0. I mean, it's only been done a few times. I mean, it's very difficult to do. So I think the loss probably helped them. I've thought that about. We're Tennessee fans again. We're pulling for Tennessee in basketball, and I would get concerned about them. They would start off even right now. They're undefeated.
Yeah,
they're going to need to lose a couple. You know what I mean? In order to have a shot at winning it all. It's like you can't peak too soon, right?
That's right. No, I agree. I think that Ohio State loss really, really bothered them when they lost to Michigan. I mean, and I don't know. The other way to look at it is, man, what is going on with that Michigan game? I mean, goodness gracious, dude. That is unbelievable.
Michigan, Alabama?
No. Ohio State when they lost to Michigan. I mean, it's still like you still think back like, dude, what were they doing?
Right.
What in the world? But if they win that game, I'm not sure that they come out as fired up as they have the last two. So who knows?
No, I don't think so. Oregon should maybe, think a little bit more about their own defense and maybe less about their uniform combinations. Maybe that would help them out. Oh, look at this.
Hey.
A lot of uniform combinations, 0 national championships.
Wow. That's awesome.
I mean, I love the uniforms. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty cool. But I mean,
it is. I think Oregon's got it going on now. They got plenty of NIL money. They've got a really strong fan base. Yeah. I don't think Oregon's going anywhere.
They'll be back.
They'll be back. Oregon's going to be in a conversation a long time.
Yeah. Very cool. Thanks everybody's dropping comments in here. Love it. One thing I do love to see someone mention Sarkisian in here. I like Sark's calmness about him. He doesn't even show hardly any emotion, and I love it. I mean, whether it's with the officials or with his players, he's just sort of like, all right, we'll just keep going. They just threw a pass and tied the game up. Oh, our kicker just missed 2 kicks in a row now.
Yeah.
That could have won the game for us. He's like, all right, I guess we're going to have to do something else. Let's just throw this pass in overtime and tie it back up. Oh, let's get the ball first on the next overtime and throw a pass for a touchdown and win. I mean, it just doesn't waver. And so I think that is something Texas has going for them. But we got a game happening today, 4:00. The Sugar Bowl had to be postponed because of the unfortunate events happened down in New Orleans yesterday. But great game. I cannot wait for this game.
Can't either. Today at 4. Weird time. I don't know why they're doing it at 4, but.
Well, you got that Duke's Mayo Bowl at 8 tonight. Okay, Ole Miss and Duke. So
is that really tonight at 8? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's prime time, baby. You got.
Oh, well, that's okay.
They already had that slotted in, so now that Sugar Bowl, you got to drop them in somewhere. 4:00. I'll be ready. I'll be watching.
Yeah.
You picked Georgia, right?
I picked Georgia.
Okay, all right.
Yep, I'm rolling. I mean, I don't have any reason to change that. Again, I'm still a little worried about their quarterback situation in Gunnar Stockton. A little worried about that, but I still think they're the better team. I like what our guest last week said, David Pollock. He said they're built very similar, but Georgia's just a little bit better athletes across the field, and I think that's probably a really good. That was a really good assessment. I'm gonna roll with that.
100%. I think that's true to some degree, but I still pick Notre Dame. I think Riley Leonard is the most underrated quarterback in the country as far as major schools go. And Jeremiah Love, the running back, if they get them going, I think, I think they can outscore Georgia. But really, Notre Dame's defense, I look at Notre Dame's defense to make some big moves on the D line. I think they're going to create some turnovers. They're going to see a couple interceptions, fumbles. Something's going to be happening from the Georgia offense that's going to give Notre Dame a leg up. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But who knows? It's going to be a great game. Can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, get that right.
Good deal. What's next? What else are we talking about? What do you guys want to talk about? Drop it in the comments. We'll try to work it in into the show.
So next thing we got on here is, how about the teams who got a bye in the first round? They are 0-3 in the college football playoffs. That's interesting. If Georgia loses, they'll be 0-4. Now, I think that's got to do with the Arizona State and Boise State getting a bye more than the fact that the bye is that penal, right? I mean,
right.
I don't think the bye is really bad at all. I think it's got to do with, you got Boise State and Arizona State, which were two of the weaker teams in the playoffs without question. And then Ohio State has just been on this crazy just revenge tour post Michigan. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's a disadvantage to get the bye?
Well, I don't know if it's a disadvantage. I think the problem is that Boise State and Arizona State shouldn't have gotten byes. The byes should have been, Oregon should have gotten their bye. They got a bye. They still got killed, but they deserved the bye. Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Penn State should have been the teams with byes. It's the top four teams in the country. Give them the byes. I mean, look at this. I mean, it's, those are two of those scores are not even close. And thanks to Cam Scatterbo with his snarl there after his big
look at him snarling
touchdown or his big run there or whatever. They kept it close, but I think we got to make some changes here. Got to make some changes with the way we do this going forward.
Yeah, that's what Bob says too. Bob said the issue is with seating, and I agree with that, Bob. Yep. Yeah, very poor seating. I think everybody agrees with that. They got to redo that seating.
Yeah, they do. I'm drinking out of my Michigan cup still, guys. GameTimeSidekicks.com. You can get one like this. Or if you don't like the maize and blue, you can get your own team colors. But I'm
maize and blue.
I'm just, I'm celebrating Michigan's victory over Alabama, as Alabama has now started 2024 and ended 2024 with losses to Michigan.
Oh, painful.
It went from the Rose Bowl to the ReliaQuest Bowl, and close games, but couldn't get it done.
So I saw yesterday on ESPN, Paul Feinbaum said that the season under DeBoer has been an absolute disaster, and that he is on a red hot seat. Do you agree with that take or no?
Who said that? Feinbaum did?
Paul did.
Paul's always saying stuff. I don't know. Paul,
Mouth of the South. Call Paul, y'all. Call Paul. I've tried to call Paul, but it's hard to get on there because he just has his special guest that he trusts to come on the air.
Yeah, they need you on there. You need to be calling there. You and
I want to call in there.
You and that JR Fortune guy. Y'all need to be calling.
I call into Vol calls all the time and get on, but it's been hard to get on to Feinbaum. I'm always like, I'm calling Powell, but they can't ever get on.
Unbelievable.
Anyways, that's what he said. What do you think about DeBoer? You think that's true?
I don't know. I mean, it's 1 year. I mean, they're gonna finish. Dude, it's one freaking season. He takes over the helm for the greatest coach of all time. Takes his team to 9-3 in the SEC, the toughest conference in America. Loses the bowl game to a good Michigan team, and they're calling for his head. Give me a break. Yeah. No, he's fine. He's a national championship coach. I mean, he's a national. He played in the national championship. They didn't win, but he's a great coach, and no, he's going to be fine. As Paul.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. For one, whatever he does next year, if they have a good year next year and they go to the playoff, nobody's going to look back at the Michigan game with all transfers and be like, oh, but that whatever that bowl was, the Cheez-It Bowl or whatever.
Yeah.
And if they have a terrible year next year and he had happened to win the Cheez-It Bowl, no one would look back and say, oh, but he beat Michigan with a bunch of transfers in the Cheez-It Bowl. So I don't think the bowl matters at all about his hot seat level, whatever. But Alabama's fan base is really high expectations. And if they do not compete and end up in the playoff again next year, I think it's going to be super hot.
It could be hot then. Yeah. I mean, it's Alabama. You got to be up there.
For everyone else in the conference, man, that's not the same Alabama team. Man, they're not. It's not the same level of fear as playing the old Alabama under Nick Saban. And I think wholeheartedly Kirby Smart and Georgia have replaced that.
100%.
So at least for us, there's still one of them, not two of them. Because we used to have to play both of them every year.
Exactly. Georgia football is the new standard for the SEC, without a doubt. It's not Alabama anymore. I mean, it's changed over.
For sure.
And so, it'll be interesting. Also, Jalen Milroe, kid I love. I've met the guy. Got a $1 million smile, this kid. I mean, a really good kid. We hung out some, but lost both these games getting stopped on 4th down at the goal line. I mean, that's heartbreaking for them. He's such a baller and has won a lot of close games. You think back to the Georgia game that they won. You think back to the Auburn game last year. I mean, they won some great. One quick story about Jalen Milroe. I was sitting with him at dinner at the event of the Campbell Trophy dinner in Vegas. And we were talking about the Auburn game last year when he threw, they called it the mill throw, right? That crazy throw to win the game. It was just insane. And he was cracking me up. He pulled up his phone. He said, bro, it was like 4th quarter. He said an actual eagle came and landed and perched on the scoreboard. He's like, the sky turned orange. He's like, I looked, and he showed me a picture of the sky, like the sun was. It was orange, an orange sky. He said,
really?
He said, he looked at me and he goes, "Oh, we ain't winning this game. we ain't winning this game. This ain't happening."
Are you serious?
Yes, I'd have to get him. Man, if he could tell the story, that'd be great. I mean,
that would be.
There's an eagle perched up on the stadium. The sky turns orange. He said, "It's over. We're done." I mean, it just ain't happening. But they did it. They won. But great moment. I mean, college football is the absolute best, man.
Absolute best. Absolute best.
Golly. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We've got a few more things here to go through. Caleb, your boy Diego Pavia. He was what?
Look at this guy, dude. This is post victory in the Birmingham Bowl over who knows and who cares who. And
Georgia Tech. It was Georgia Tech.
It was Georgia Tech. Thank you. That's actually pretty good win. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's sitting there doing his best Joe Burrow impression after winning a natty when Joe Burrow did that. And he's winning the Birmingham Bowl puffing on a cigar with come on, bro. God. You know what? This is what I think. I think him and Cam Scatterboo need to go make their own team. Right. Now the team will probably be pretty good. That's the bad part, but they'll be the absolute enemy of the people will be Diego Pavia and Cam Scatterboo on the same team, man.
That's it. We need a Diego Pavia Cam Scatterboo podcast. They need to have their own show together. They just
they do.
Bro, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. No, I'm the best.
I'm the best.
No, I'm the best. And Scatterboo, Scatterboo needs to. His parents know that there's only one O at the end of their last name. Isn't that Scatterbo? That's They're not pronouncing their last name correctly. It's Scatterbo.
Yeah.
Okay? No
Scatterbo.
My gosh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Diego, that picture goes hard. That goes hard, Diego.
So hard. Yeah.
It goes hard. You know who else goes hard? Shane Beamer.
Shane Beamer. Yeah.
Don't mess with Shane Beamer. Don't be calling no substitution. Brett Bielema comes over. You got an injured player on the field. He comes over, does the not substitution, is the T. The fair catch thing, right, on the kickoff.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
The iron cross. So South Carolina players does the iron cross. Yeah, the thing, but then they still return it.
Right. Right.
So that's legal.
It is legal.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Everybody assumes when they do that they're because they're telling their own team, "Hey, we're just letting it go."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They do that and then return it anyways. That was the whole deal. Well, Bielema didn't care for that, and when his player was down on the other side, he walks across the field and looks over to the Carolina sideline and goes, and here's Shane Beamer
hitting you, so I know what that feels like.
Look, no, turn the sound back on. Turn the sound back on. Yeah.
We have an altercation of some sort down on the field. Shane Beamer is incensed, irate about something.
Hold it back. Hold it back. That's good. Okay, Luke, go back to the beginning of it, and you can mute it. Yeah, he just gets fired up. Look at him. Patience, he's fired up. Beamer.
He's an emotional guy. He's an emotional guy. Who would you take in a fight between him and Bielema?
Bielema's a big boy.
Bielema's a big old boy. That's what I was thinking too.
I don't know. I feel like Beamer would be chirping at him, chirping at
Yeah.
Come on, Brett. Come on, Brett. Would just kind of like boom. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm probably taking Brett in that one, but yeah, poor Beamer, man. He brings the passion. He is so good for post-game interviews, apparently in-game arguments.
Oh yeah!
Wow, awesome.
So, I love it. I'd love to play for Beamer. I'd be fun to play for. I mean, yeah, I think it'd be fun. I think he's, people say he's kind of cringe sometimes, but somebody said Shane Beamer is Butch Jones with 1 to 2 more quality wins. That's good.
Oh, I don't know about Beamer, but he's done well at South Carolina. I give him that. He's done well there.
He has. Yeah, it's great to see them. Okay, so other big news coming out of this was in the whatever bowl. I forgot what it is, Citrus Bowl or whatever. It's
no, this was a Pop-Tart Bowl.
Pop-Tarts Bowl, yes. Gosh, what a bowl. I love it. It's one of my favorite bowl games.
With the Pop-Tart Bowl.
I love the Pop-Tart guy. It's very cool. Iowa State beating Miami. The big news there, Cam Ward sitting out the second half. People in the comments wanting us to talk about that. So Cam Ward, he breaks the passing record the first half, and then second half doesn't play. What is your take on that?
So my take is either play the game all the way through or don't play at all. Preferably play it all the way through, but it's obviously becoming so common that people are not playing in bowl games that you really can't fault Cam Ward if he did that. But to play just to break an individual record and then leave in a really close game seems like on the meter of how selfish you are, just like slings all the way to the far of as selfish as you could go, right? Like, obviously you were not that worried about injury enough to break a record. I guess, is that why you played, was to break a record? I assume that was it, right?
I think that's what it is. I think people are saying it appears that's why he played, because at first it seems like, he's playing because it's the bowl game. He's going to play. He's going to finish the season, which I believe players should be doing. And,
I do too. I do too, especially if you're paying them all this NIL money. I mean, hello.
Right.
But to play half the game is the absolute worst. I mean, I don't like that at all. I wish he had just played the full game, or just don't play at all. Just be like, hey, I'm sitting out the bowl, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to the draft. We know he's going to be a high draft pick, man. Okay, that's fine. Everything's good with that. But I don't know. I didn't like that look a lot. It was just it was weird. That's the way to put it. It's very weird that he would do that.
It is weird. It is weird. And maybe there's some minor injury we didn't know about or something that made about. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
And then we got Stacy there. See, this is exactly what I was saying earlier. This is exactly what Stacy says. This is why the bowls are meaningless. That's right. The bowls are meaningless. I mean, if you have a quarterback not play the second half, yes, that is the definition of this game is now getting meaningless. So I don't know. I'm curious to see if NFL teams do care about that or not. And I agree with David Miller. Playing in bowl games should be mandatory with NIL. I agree. If they're paying you 6 and 7 figures, like, you need to play in the games that they're paying you to play in, for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of players leaving, we're Tennessee guys. We probably got some Tennessee fans following us here. You know what Tennessee could use? Some wide receivers because they're all leaving.
Yeah, we sure could.
What is going on over there? We've got, first of all, Dylan Sampson headed to the NFL, which nobody's really surprised about
That's
that.
normal.
Yeah, I wish he'd come back. He can come back, and it'd be great for him to come back. But it's fine. He's going.
He shouldn't come back though.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's good enough to go to the NFL. He's going to be a
Yeah.
I don't know,
And as a running back, you don't have that many years in your shelf life.
yeah. That I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's second round, third round pick. Where's Sampson go?
I don't know. I really haven't seen. I'm going to say second round if I had to guess. But running backs are so undervalued. I wouldn't be shocked if he falls.
Yeah, yeah, but he'll go. So, but Tennessee's lost some guys to the portal here already. Some pretty big names. Squirrel White, I think. Well, okay, Mike Matthews, big. Freshman.
Matthews is probably the biggest.
He's supposedly may still be sticking around. It's not.
But it sounds like Nico and Heupel are trying to get him to stick around. There was some talk that it certainly seemed weird what Nico posted online, and there was talk maybe Nico was considering leaving or trying to get more money. And you don't really ever get any details about that, but he's not. And so there was also some talk maybe Mike Matthews was worried Nico was going to leave, so he put his name in the portal before it was too late, and now he won't go. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he comes back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. He had a cryptic tweet of him with the in the pocket with the ball, and then like a weird emoji. Probably wondering who he's going to throw to because Mike Matthews supposedly maybe leave. All right, so Squirrel White is gone. Supposedly, I mean, I guess if you can go in the portal and you can come back, is that right? If your team makes you a deal,
you can. So I mean, I've heard about Squirrel just like through the rumor mill that he wants to be closer to his. I think it's a son. He has a child somewhere in Alabama, so he's looking at the Alabama schools: Alabama, Auburn, UAB. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up for that. Some of the other players listed on there. Who else we have leaving?
Holden Stays, tight end Holden Stays, which that's a big loss. I think he actually had a great year, and we need some good tight ends. And we still have what's his name coming back? The other guy whose name escapes me. Gaston Moore, backup quarterback. He's leaving. That's interesting. He's been Mr. Steady as a backup guy for 3 years now. Finally, he's like, I'm going to go play somewhere. So
you can't blame him.
Where's Gaston going to go? You think like a mid-major? You think like a?
That's what I think. I think he's going to go get some action.
Some action there.
He's going to hop into some action.
Yeah, some Marshall or
something like that.
I don't know. Very good, but Nico sticking around from what we can tell. So I think we're good there. Miles Kitselman, that's the other tight end I was thinking of. Glad to have him coming back. He's great athlete.
Of all those transfers, I mean, we got Bukar back. It's Mike Matthews is the one that is weird to me. I mean, even the tight end Holden leaving. I mean, I don't know. Kids leave when they can get more money. Mike Matthews is weird. And this is why it's weird. He's a 5-star. The receiver room's empty, and the way Heupel runs his offense is with wide splits that's designed to get one-on-one matchups. Okay, so you've got a quarterback in Nico at a place like Tennessee where you're going to get one-on-one matchups. You're in a wonderful position to win a bunch of those and either go get big NIL money next year or stay at Tennessee for big NIL money. So it's just odd to me that he would want to go somewhere else and get in their thing when he's obviously going to be the guy that gets a ton of one-on-one matchups next year at Tennessee, and he's got a chance to go win them. That is weird. That's the one to me that is really strange. The rest of them are kind of typical portal stuff, but that one's strange.
It is strange. That's great. It makes you wonder why. Tennessee's got a bunch of good freshmen coming in that have committed. That's the thing. You get a great recruiting class like this, and it's like, oh, this is awesome. Look at these guys. David Sanders. I mean, one of the largest recruits in the country. I mean, it's big gets here for Tennessee, but they may be here for a year or two, then they may transfer somewhere else because this doesn't mean as much anymore. I feel like how many of these guys that are coming in as freshmen are going to be there to graduate? Half,
It certainly doesn't mean as much as it used to. That's for sure.
It does not. Another rumor going around is that the Branch brothers hit the portal, and Tennessee. I think they're also looking at Miami. look at some other teams, but that would be a
Yep.
huge addition if Tennessee were to get Zachariah Branch, and if Mike Matthews does come back, um, that would be an outstanding skill set at wide
Yeah.
receiver.
I mean, I would be surprised if Tennessee goes into next year with a bare receiving core, given the amount of money they have and the quarterback they have and the coach
Yeah.
they have. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
they just have so many resources. I think they will end up with a solid receiving core one way or another through the transfer portal. It just they just need some time for it to play out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I personally, I put this out there on my social media a few days ago. I did a poll in our Instagram and on Twitter, and the Instagram one was pretty telling. NIL and transfer portal are ruining college football. 1,500 voted true, only 106 voted false. I didn't give him any other
Wow.
answer, as in uh, yes, but there's a
Yeah.
way for it to be good. I mean, it's just either yes or no is only I get. I personally, I hate it. I hate NIL and I hate the transfer portal. There's no loyalty anymore. Nobody's. It is. Things didn't go my way. You got Tennessee receivers in a system like Josh Heupel, just like you were saying, Caleb, who were like, I'm going to enter the portal now after we went to the playoffs after all
Crazy.
that. I don't understand that. That didn't. Why?
I don't know.
Because you're looking
And
for more,
they're going to be the
money.
number one guy. I don't know. It's bizarre.
You're looking for money. Here's what I do. Should players make money? Yeah, there is an NIL thing where the school's making money on them. I get it. Can we do something where there's like if you're a starting quarterback at any major school, you make this much money, right? How can we level the playing field like a bunch of socialists, I guess, and say everybody's going to make the same amount, right? Because it's ruining college. I hate it. I hate the transfer portal. People going 2, 3, 4, 5 schools. I mean, it's outrageous.
Yeah.
To me, it makes recruiting not mean as much. It makes your team doesn't mean as much. What happened to like integrity and character? Like, hey, I'm a sophomore and I didn't start, so I'm going to go somewhere else where I can play. How about you stay and you earn it and you work and you try to start the next year? And back in the day, think about someone like T. Martin at Tennessee. He'd sat behind Peyton Manning, for 2 years. He could have just transferred when Peyton said, "I'm coming back for my senior year." T could have been like, "I'm out of here." If the portal existed, it did. He stuck around.
Yep.
And what happened? He won a national championship his first year as a starter as a junior. So I hate it. I despise. I think they need to completely throw it all out and start from scratch and do it all over.
Yeah. Well, so I got a couple things on this. For one, they've got the best model in the world for the most popular sports league, at least in the United States, and probably the second most behind the Premier League, and that's the NFL. Okay. And it's also football. And they're giving you the perfect model, right? Contracts. They don't do free agency at the end of every year. Like literally the NFL, it's like they have free agency at the end of every year for every single player. That's what's going on in college right now. Bananas. You can't have that.
Right.
You got to have some contracts in place. The NFL does have a cap on their salary. So it levels the playing field out a little bit. Now that could be argued back and forth. But there's merit to that, right? So my point is that they've got the perfect example of what really works in making a very competitive league where you are paying people to play football, but it also is balanced in terms of, the players have appropriate leverage and also the organization and teams have appropriate leverage. And hey, guess what? That includes on the coaches. NFL coaches just can't leave either. Okay.
Exactly.
And so I also would throw the coaches right in on that. If the players have to honor contracts, the coaches should have to honor them too. But to have that happen, you've got to have one consistent league that is governing everything instead of the conferences. And how did we get to be this point? Well, the reason is because the NCAA fought tooth and nail to keep NIL from happening at all, despite this having ample time to see this trend coming down the tracks and having ample time to see that the courts were not going to side with them. And it got so bad that instead of creating any type of plan to move forward or creating any type of holistic culture, they decided to let the Supreme Court just tell them what they were doing is illegal, and it just end up in a complete vacuum where the NCAA has no idea what to do because it is so antithesis to the culture that they have built over decades, right? And so,
Yeah.
to me, the answer is they've got to have one governing body, whether it's NCAA or not, that provides rules that's based upon what the NFL does. It doesn't have to be the exact same, but you've got the perfect blueprint right there.
That's great. That's a great take,
that's it.
Caleb. I think that makes a lot of sense. Kayla here, she says, should they be committed for 4 years if they accept a scholarship? I think that's something, looking at a contract basically is kind of what you're saying there. Blake says limiting the transfer portal would make players and donors make more long-term decisions and bring back consistent rosters.
Sure.
We need something. I mean, teams are hiring general managers now to be part of the team, like just like NFL. It needs some work. It's the Wild West, and I just don't like it. So I think we need to do something about it.
And you're telling your general manager that every year is a complete free agent year for every one of your players and every one of the players in the league. It's bananas. They got to say, well, you can transfer one time after your junior year or whatever. But
that's it. Yeah,
something. There's got to be something in place with that.
Well, yeah, it makes sense. If you take a scholarship, you go to a school, you're recruited, you go and you spend a couple of years and you realize this is not the best fit for me, and I need to maybe look at. You should have the ability to go somewhere else. That it's not like, but this whole thing of like just moving teams back and forth because things change. I don't get it. I don't understand it. How does that prepare young men for life? That's not how real life works as you get older. And a lot of these guys getting in, they're not only a small chunk of them are going to even make it to the NFL. And the ones that do, they may only play a few years. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
Yep.
We got some games to pick though.
Let's get to it.
Let's get after it. There's a couple of non-playoff games going. We've got Ole Miss and
Duke and Ole Miss. The Mayo Bowl. This is one of your favorites, huh?
No, I was wrong. It's the Gator Bowl. It's the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
It is. Oh, okay.
I thought it'd be weird for Duke to play in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. That's a bit, Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Interesting matchup here. I guess is this an SEC ACC deal? That's why they landed with this team. Ole Miss is going to destroy Duke.
I think Jackson Dart's playing, and I'm taking Ole Miss either way.
Yeah, Dart's playing. He's playing.
Yeah, I'm playing. I'm taking Ole Miss. Is he playing a whole game or just a half?
All right.
I'm taking Ole Miss.
17-point favorites. I mean, this is again.
Yeah, I think they might cover it too.
People asking why is this game happening? Right, it's an exhibition game, but we're both taking Ole Miss and that for sure. All right, Minnesota and Virginia Tech in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. There we go. So Minnesota with a couple big upsets this year. I mean, they beat Wisconsin, they beat Illinois, a team that just beat South Carolina. I mean, Minnesota's not too bad. Virginia Tech, I've got the Hokies in my pick'em app. I think I've got the Hokies winning this game. It looks like a close one. But what do you think?
I'm going to take Minnesota just because you're taking Virginia Tech.
Just to be different, huh?
Yep, that's right.
The Golden Gophers. All right, I'm taking the Hokies. You're taking the Gophers.
That's right.
All right,
here we go. Texas and Ohio State.
Let's talk about this game next week.
Yeah.
What does Texas have a chance? That's what I'm thinking. I want to say like how close does Texas have a chance at winning this game?
Oh, they got it. Yeah, for sure they have a chance. They absolutely have a chance. In the regular season, Texas went up there and pummeled Michigan that beat Ohio State, so they definitely have a chance. Texas has got a really good roster. And to win the game, they've got to look at the game plan that Ohio State had on offense that came out and obliterated Tennessee and Oregon. Those are the only two games they need to worry about watching, and it starts with shutting down Smith. They've got to shut down Smith. So, yes, Texas can win the game. There's no question about it. But I think I'm going to go with Ohio State. Ohio State just looks too good to just ignore. I think Ohio State's going to win this game.
I agree. I think Texas's inability to close out big games at the end or closing them out, but just barely and making them interesting.
You got that right.
You got a kicking team that all of a sudden can't make the kick. You got defenses giving up crazy halfback passes from Cam Scatterbooboo. I mean,
Scatterbooboo.
So I don't trust Texas enough to win. They're a talented team. I love Sark. I like his mentality there. But I'm taking Ohio State as well, the Buckeyes, to get it done.
I'm curious in that game. Both of those teams have won their 2 playoff games by starting really hot. They've started very
Yeah.
hot, both of them. I'd
Yeah.
be curious to see how they play in terms of starting hot like that.
Yeah.
So,
I don't
you
know.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Let's go to the bracket and talk about it real quick. This will be our last segment of the show, guys. Thanks for joining us. We're going to head out here in a minute. But this, I love looking at this bracket, just about filled out. Penn State making their way to the semis after beating SMU and Boise State. Now, Penn State's going to have to play either Notre Dame or Georgia.
God.
Do you think no matter who that team is, that they beat Penn State, or does Penn State have a shot here, you think?
I don't think they beat Georgia by any chance. I think they might beat Notre Dame, but I'd probably take Notre Dame. So I would take either I'm going to take the winner of the Notre Dame Georgia game, but I think
To beat Penn State.
But I think Penn State's got a better chance versus Notre Dame than they do against Georgia.
I think so too. I think first of all, I'm taking Notre Dame to beat Georgia. I think that
you are.
In 3 hours, we got a game, and 100%. I think Notre Dame beats Georgia, and I think that I'm with you. The winner of that beats Penn State. I don't know. I've picked against Penn State. It's funny. I used to pick for Penn State quite a bit, and then they kept letting me down, and so then I stopped picking them, and now they're winning. So I don't know what to do with Penn State, but their defense. If the defense shows up, I mean they can play with almost anybody. But I think Ohio State. I think Ohio State beats Texas, not as hard as they beat Tennessee and Oregon, but I think they might beat them by a couple of touchdowns. All right. So, all right, Caleb. So you got Texas, Ohio State. You're picking Ohio State. The winner of the Georgia Notre Dame, you're taking over Penn State. So your national championship at this point, you've got who?
Ohio State and Georgia. That's who I've got. I got Ohio State and Georgia.
Okay.
I've been rolling with the dogs the whole way. I'm going to stay rolling with the dogs. But I'm a lot less sure of that after I've seen Ohio State. It's almost like it seems like it's Ohio State's to lose, doesn't it? Like
100%.
It seems like this is. I mean, Ohio State. It feels like they've got the lead in the back nine at Augusta, and they just deserves to lose, man. I mean, I don't know. I still have so much respect for Kirby Smart in big games, even if he's not the better team. So I don't know. I'm gonna still roll with Georgia, but I'm telling you, it feels like it's Ohio State's to lose.
You said it. You can't bet against Kirby Smart, really. I mean, at any point. Except maybe against Alabama. They've got their number for now. But Georgia, why would you not pick Georgia? I'm thinking, okay, Gunnar Stockton, he's stepping in and playing for Carson Beck, but I still don't know that this is the best time for a new quarterback, no matter how talented he is, to come in.
It's sure not.
And have to play against these teams. So I'm taking Notre Dame to beat Georgia today. And I'm taking Notre Dame to beat Penn State next week and go to the national championship. And I'm taking Ohio State to beat Texas and go to the national championship. But despite drinking out of a Michigan mug today, I'm still taking Ohio State to the title game and to win it all now. Oh, I just can't imagine anybody beating Ohio State right now. They are the hottest team in America. They are the best football team, the most complete football team. And they are playing with their pants on fire, saying, somebody please step up and try to just try to beat us. You can't do it. They are challenging everybody, and they are winning. So I'm taking the Buckeyes over Notre Dame. You're taking Georgia over the Buckeyes.
Georgia. Yep.
It's good. It's good stuff.
We shall see.
What a show. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back next week, I think, Thursday at noon.
Yeah.
Next Thursday at noon. Make sure you join us. Make sure you're following Honorable Mention Sports on all of the social channels, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're all over there. We've got great content coming for you guys. We're going to keep the show going all year round. So this is the first. This is one of 52 shows for this year.
Yeah.
So
this first show of the year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you, Caleb.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. Let's have a good one.
Everybody out there, thanks for joining in. And we'll see you next week.
All right, see ya.